every week I try to make tech feel a little bit more human, so if you're into that, please consider subscribing. This video is sponsored by Anker. You guys want to know what's super ironic about what I'm doing now? I'm actually connected to my Windows PC at the office. It's almost like, what's the point of having a MacBook, right? God knows, maybe the M5 is gonna help me remotely connect to my Windows PC quicker. And nope, this isn't the M5. This is actually last year's model. I'm actually waiting for the mailman to bring me my laptop. Ideas, even use good notes AI to create a quick... I believe this is it. This is it. Well, nothing looks different. Apparently in Europe though, allegedly, there's no charger within the box. Anyways, you know what? I'm just gonna go to the office and unbox this with you guys, and I guess show it to you. I've got a whole mess here, and I told myself I would keep this whole thing clean. The good thing is that, well, my sister uses it all the time, so I guess that's good. Like if you open this drawer, you can plug in a laptop and it'll work with the entire setup, so yeah. Anyways, let's open this up. I love this about MacBooks. Like regardless of what power source they use, they still give you like full performance. By the way, do you guys want me to review this monitor? I've been meaning to ask. I feel like it's so good for a MacBook setup. It's definitely great for something like this. This year is the M5 MacBook Pro. I got the nano texture one. This one does have 32 gigabytes of unified memory, but you know how expensive RAM can be with Apple? I'm not even sure if it's worth it for this specific model. I'll talk about why in just a bit. The unboxing experience hasn't changed. I think we'll only see that with the upcoming redesign, because aside from the processor in here, there's probably absolutely nothing new with this. Apple had already introduced the M4 base model in space black, which wasn't even an option before. M5 does add the option to go up to 4 terabytes of SSD. But really, aside from this, M5 keeps most external hardware design specs identical. This one does come with a charger out of its box. It seems like it's only in Europe where you gotta pay to add it. And I believe that because I got the nano texture version, this one does come with a cloth like on the M4. So this is a nice little addition, but it only comes in the box if you got that nano texture panel. As for the charger, I have the 70 watt USB-C power adapter, but you can upgrade to the 90 watt if needed. Or you can get something at the 140 watt on a single port like the Anker Prime charger. I use Anker stuff all the freaking time, like I bring my little battery pack from Anker with me no matter where I go. But this one's a 3-port charger and it can deliver up to 160 watts in total. Plus it's tiny, which is great. It's almost as big as the Apple Power Brick, and it's the world's most compact 160 watt multi-port charger. It can also provide up to 140 watt on a single port. It's about the size of AirPods Pro, yet it charges my laptop, my phone, and my tablet all at once, so there's like no clutter, no guessing which port's faster. It just does it automatically with Anker's Power IQ 5.0 tech. I did do a charging test with a MacBook when I was using it over the weekend, and from 8:32 p.m. by only connecting this and charging it at 90 watts, I was able to go from 4% to about 55% in 30 minutes until about 80% in 50 minutes, which is really nice for a computer like this. I also have their Anker Prime power bank for flights. The power bank is actually wild. It has 300 watts of total output, so I can charge 3 devices at once. Like this is an industry-leading 300 watt multi-port fast charging power bank. My laptop, my camera, and phone all get fast charging even when I'm completely off the grid. This can also charge your MacBook Pro to 50% in half an hour as well, and my phone from dead to half in around 20 minutes. And it's smaller than a cup of coffee, fits in a jacket pocket, it's actually TSA approved, and even has a smart display that allows you to check out your charging stats like voltage, temperature, and time remaining. Both products are designed for outdoor use and are high performance charging solutions, and when you use them together,
It gets even better. The moment I plug the power bank into the charger, it instantly pulls 150 watts. It's like its own little power ecosystem. There's a discount coming soon, so definitely check the link down below to learn more. And I know this isn't a proper review, but at least I can show you what a MacBook looks like after a year of use between Jan and I. So we own a M4 Pro MacBook Pro in space black. The laptop has gone through it because we often put cameras on it on the plane and just abuse it. I used the cloth Apple provided to clean its top to show you how it looks now. And for the most part, the logo is scratched and the chassis too, but you can't see it too much. In fact, I took a video with the iPhone to show you a POV of what it actually looks like.
Just to show you guys, all the scratches, because you can clearly see with the iPhone. If I show you guys with the FX3, you won't see it, but these are all the scratches the laptop has. See, the logo has a few things that you can't take off, and that's because when I travel, I put my camera with the cage on it, and just keys and things like that. But yeah, not bad. Honestly, I kind of beaten this up pretty good.
Oh, also guys, on my M1 Pro that I've used for a while, you'll see how in the speaker grills you can get some sort of dust accumulated, so you can take it out with maybe a needle, so just be mindful of that. The chassis in space black definitely endures some beating. I will say the more you use the ports, the more they start to chip away, and I've realized that with honestly all the MacBooks within the Apple Silicon generation. If you are changing from one MacBook to another though, I very much recommend you take the time to set up a time machine. I have plenty of SSDs for all my MacBook setups, and it's so easy to do really. Grab any 1TB SSD you can find and search for time machine. With the plus icon, you can add a new time machine SSD to your laptop. It can take quite some time to back up, but it'll be worth it, trust me. And it'll work across different macOS versions. My other MacBook Pro is still on Sequoia, but that won't prevent you from transferring your data to Tahoe. It just all depends on how much data you have for sure. It took about an hour or so for me, but once it's all set up, things like, I don't know, iTerm 2 settings, for example, they import very well. What I'm trying to say is that very specific things end up importing well.
I don't know if this might sound odd to you, but I'm trying to understand who's watching this video. Like, who are you guys? What do you do for a living? Why are you watching this video exactly? Because, for example, if I wouldn't be reviewing tech for a living, I would be doing development. I'm a software engineer at heart. That's what I studied. And that's why I would most likely just buy a MacBook. So what about you? Talk to me. Tell me a bit about yourself.
This is the machine for the people who either come from an M1 or M2 MacBook Air, in my opinion, or the people on Intel platforms that don't buy secondhand really. I can't see it any other way, and here's why. First of all, you M1 Pro users, I would honestly keep that. Apple only released their M5 models this month, not the Pro nor Pro Max. This is it. M1 Pro, in my opinion, is still going super strong till this day, but you probably need more RAM, right? Or more GPU power, but just wait. Like, think about it. Your M1 Pro has 200 gigabytes per second in bandwidth, and this has 153 gigabytes per second. So you're good. Even if I was to benchmark M1 Pro against this, the numbers aren't like crazy far off. M5 though is Thunderbolt 4 only, no Wi-Fi 7, and you're getting 16 gigabytes of RAM anyways at $1,600. If the trend continues, maybe we could see a default M5 Pro with 32, 36 gigabytes for under $2,000. I hope so, could be good. But I don't know, like M1 Pro is still going super strong till this day. Sometimes I genuinely feel like using mine as a daily and film the process just to prove a point. I must say though, for me, nano texture has been a game changer and I can't live without it anymore. Nano is hands down, undisputedly awesome for glare rejection. I find fingerprints don't show nearly as much as well, and there are a few downsides for people though. Like, I've seen users complain that it's less sharp and not as color accurate, but it's honestly kinda subtle. Like, my eyes can't really tell much of a difference. And also, tested max brightness. That's a thing. I think our things made a test where the nano texture version on a MacBook hit around 764 nits peak SDR brightness, whereas the standard glossy variant reached 943 nits. So there's that. but I really don't mind the trade-off, and you can barely see it anyways. Overall, aside from M1 Pro or an older model, M5 does deliver better chip performance than the M4, but not by much because Apple claims the M5 delivers over 4 times peak GPU compute performance for AI workloads compared to the M4. The unified memory bandwidth has gone up from the M4's 120 to 153. The neural engine is improved too. This is a better chip, there are improvements, but it's all for the people I mentioned at the beginning in my opinion. What is cool though is that if you did buy an M4 MacBook Pro a week ago or so, Apple will automatically upgrade you to the new M5 Pro for free, which obviously confirms no price increase. Now, if you are new to Mac, I think this is an amazing starting point. Like if you are a professional who needs a slim, power-efficient laptop with strong multi-core performance, it basically comes down to this, or maybe a Lenovo ThinkPad with a high-end AMD chip. I mean, I loved my G14. I think it definitely competes in a way with this. Definitely excited to try the new P16. It saw some major improvements this year, so I might rock that. But at the end of the day, Windows laptops won't give you the full performance it's capable of unless it's plugged in. Plus, the battery life on MacBooks are unmatched in my opinion. I will always say it, as much as I enjoy a Windows laptop, I think MacBooks are the best laptops you can get, period.
Listen, if any of you guys are new to MacBook, I'm just running a little tiny battery test. I charged the laptop last night to 81% at 9:24 p.m. It's currently 10:35 a.m. We are at, let me tell you right now, we're at 34%. And as I'm doing this review, well, I'm keeping track of battery life because last night I was coding for a tiny bit, or not really coding, but just learning new technologies, watching some videos and watching a movie, which I fell asleep to. And now this morning, well, I'm just testing a few things, opening Photoshop and Lightroom and things like that. Plus, I'm running some benchmarks and whatnot. So keep that in mind. What I'm going to do now is that we're going to talk about macOS Tahoe, because this is actually my first time using it, believe it or not. I was on Sequoia for the longest time, and now, well, I'm not quite sure if I like this. Let's just put it that way. Let's talk about it.
Look, if you're coming from Windows or you're genuinely upgrading your entire MacBook experience, so in a way like me, because this is the first time I tried Tahoe, you gotta know something. macOS is now quite different. Some people like it, others don't, and usually I say before upgrading, I recommend to wait a few updates for them to correct some bugs. But in this case, it's hard because there's an entire new design to it, so it doesn't matter how long you wait. Tahoe for me, I don't know, it just like feels unfinished. That's the first thought I had when I was like setting this up. It just doesn't have that like Apple refine, you know, that Apple touch. Almost feels like someone made a Linux skin for fun. It's all part of this new liquid glass design language. Lots of transparency, frosted glass effects, floating panels, rounded corners, and I can see how people complain about things like harsh white tones, for example, with the transparency making text harder to read. Also, icons being too big and elements not having enough padding. 3D effects putting too much focus on the UI, so it's distracting, misaligned sidebars and windows, rounded corners causing visual gaps. There is a lot of complaints around the visual redesign, and I see why, I understand. It doesn't really take away much from macOS's core functionality though, so that's good. It's not the nicest, but at least everything, for the most part, works fine. Plus, not sure why we couldn't get this on iPhone, but Apple has introduced a built-in clipboard history feature via Spotlight, and the new Spotlight seems to be really solid from what I've tried. It's like Raycast but on another level. When it works though, like when indexed properly, it can show you recent documents, emails, and commands in one unified place. But I've noticed slow indexing and incomplete results, but it really doesn't happen often. It's kind of rare. Honestly though, the new Spotlight is solid, but the replacement of the Launchpad is not it. I really like the Launchpad. I think it was a perfect way to find apps. Now apps live in this whole list that can be filtered, but no more spatial grid layout, no more arranged folders, and it favors keyboard search rather than visual search.
But the Launchpad is not perfect. I don't know if you guys saw that last shot, but it literally closed on itself. And sometimes, like, let's say I right click here, text doesn't even highlight properly. You see that? It's like buggy. It's really buggy. And it'll glitch from time to time when I open it. But anyways, yeah, those are little minor glitches that need to be corrected. All this to say that for the 24 hours I've spent with Tahoe, you will encounter glitches, and I'll probably even encounter some more, but just beware that you will go through that. Especially if you're just new to MacBook, you kind of have no choice but to use Tahoe in a way.
I do find it cool though how shortcuts are really powerful now because you can automate a lot. Apple has officially introduced new automation triggers and intelligence-powered actions in the Shortcuts app. There's a new class of intelligent actions in Shortcuts that leverage Apple intelligence. Aside from these new UX elements that have been redesigned or worked on, I mean, like any new version of any software, like I said, you will run into bugs for sure. Now, am I disappointed? Yes and no. Yes, because it feels a bit rushed. I would have loved to also have OLED on the M5s before the new redesign. Could have been great feedback, but I guess without a new redesign, it's hard to implement hardware like so. And I guess I can't talk much yet because I haven't used this long enough, but I have a feeling I won't love this new liquid glass design, period. Now, I'm also not disappointed because MacBooks are just so good. Like, getting proper performance without bringing this massive brick around with you is amazing. And unlike my G14, which charges through a 100-watt dock at home, but still doesn't let me run the GPU at full power, the MacBook is able to deliver all of its performance regarding of what cable I'm charging it with. I still love Windows laptops because they can do other things MacBooks can't, like gaming, which is why I don't mind going back and forth. Plus, I've come up with clever ways to make my Android integration quite smooth, regardless of whether or not I'm using a MacBook. Rocking both when I need to review them is still a pleasure, because I try to understand both pros and cons so I can try to deliver a proper review. For example, I think one thing that might suck with macOS is Apple Intelligence. We all know Apple is behind on AI. I think we all expected more given the hype around it. Like, half of the time, the AI just doesn't deliver on simple memory tasks, and it often asks you if you want to use ChatGPT. Like, as soon as you start getting into more complex tasks, it can't process without using ChatGPT. It's like weird. Even if you ask it to summarize emails, it won't do it for you. You gotta physically do it through apps that support such features. But this might be a stroke of luck for them because, judging by how Copilot Vision users receive the latest feature update, it could completely shift how Apple would go about implementing AI going forward. The fact that Apple is behind might just allow for them to learn from others' mistakes. People are freaking out with Copilot Vision, and rightfully so. But I'm excited to see how Apple will learn from Microsoft. I know they positioned the M5 as this new AI-ready chip, so hopefully a lot of the new up-and-coming features will run more on device. And I know that Apple Intelligence does run on device, but only for smaller, privacy-safe tasks.
I think from what I understand, I mean, you guys let me know if I'm getting it wrong, but when the request is too large or the context too heavy or memory intensive, for local hardware, right, like for the MacBook, I think it's offloaded to a private cloud computer. And I think that's called a PCC. Those are like servers that are set to run a signed read-only version of Apple's OS that can't log or store data. But then other times it'll ask you to use ChatGPT, and that's when it uses OpenAI servers via this Apple bridge. Look, I know that AI is a big concern for all of us because of data privacy, and I'm all for that. Sadly, I think we've sold our souls already. But it's good to fight and it's good to complain about. Whether that's on my videos or other creator videos, it must be done. It's just the way it is and it's the way it should be. I 100% encourage that behavior. Now listen, we are at 8%. 8% battery life. And this is literally my screen usage time. I don't know if you guys can see it right here. Like, for all the little small stuff I've done in this review, including last night when I was literally just watching a show, YouTube, trying to code a bit, and I fell asleep at like 12, at like midnight. And then this morning from 9 or 8:30 a.m. till 12:23 p.m. now, the laptop's been pretty much being used like non-stop. like running benchmarks, some Apple Intelligence stuff, you know, just doing the usual. So that's about 6 hours and a half of screen time non-stop. Plus you add to the fact that I only charge the laptop till 80%. You should be able to easily squeeze 8 hours. And on top of that, I just started using this laptop, so it still has to get used to my workflow. Honestly, you can very much just get 10 to 12 hours. But it all depends what you do, right? So just take this test with a small grain of salt. It's just to give you an idea of how long it can last. So yeah, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, these have been my thoughts with the latest new M5 MacBook Pro. Enjoy your weekend.